Caught in a cycle of love and guilt, my girlfriend mocked me for not bringing flowers, saying, "Who is this guy? Please leave." After I bought her gifts, she devalued them and demanded, "I don't need your favors." Why do I feel so powerless in this relationship? This is the first time I am creating a post on Reddit, and I am still contemplating whether I should truly seek opinions regarding my situation. For some reason, I feel that I should not be doing this, but I really need to because I am blinded by her love. Recently, we met after a long time along with a few other friends after about 2 months. We had our exams coming up and needed to focus during that time as we are engineering dropouts. We decided to meet at 11:00 at a certain location. Knowing she likes flowers, I left home around 10:30 a.m. to pick up some nice blooms. However, that day my mobile data's validity expired and I only realized it after I had left home. Consequently, I could not search for flower shops on Google Maps. Nevertheless, I went looking for a few flower shops along the route and found three. One shop did not have supplies to create bouquets, the second one lacked fresh flowers and asked me to wait 10 to 15 minutes, but I was running late so I proceeded to the third shop, which had white roses, although they were not fresh. In short, I was unable to get her flowers. Since I was late, I hurried to the meeting place and found her waiting right there. We greeted each other and embraced. Both of us were extremely happy. Later, a friend arrived with his girlfriend, and he presented her with a lovely bouquet of flowers, which reminded my girlfriend that she did not receive any. As soon as I noticed the look on her face, I quickly tried to explain my situation as I had stated above. However, before I could say even 5 words, she abruptly told me to stop speaking. Suddenly, she started ignoring me as if I were nobody. The entire group of friends sensed that something was wrong and she overtly acted as if I were nothing to her. I once again told her that I was sorry for forgetting, but she refused to listen. At one point, she joked, "Who is this guy? I don't know him. Hey you, why are you sitting here? You are not part of our group, please leave." Others laughed, but I was in disbelief about what was happening. I mean, we were meeting after 2 months. Couldn't she have cared less about the flowers and spent some quality time with me? Yet she continued this act. Later, while we were eating, I tried apologizing again and told her that I truly wanted to bring her flowers and that it was unfortunate I could not get them. She responded, "What do I do with your apology? You did not get flowers, right? Having expectations is just pointless, so please do not speak anymore." Which I replied, "Okay, never mind my final apology, though it is not my fault, still I am sorry. Please talk. We can still enjoy quality time as we do not know when we will meet again." This seemed to encourage her to start talking again. Seeing her return to her normal, talkative, and happy self made me completely forget how bad I had felt a minute ago and the fact that a real tear had rolled down my cheek because flowers seemed to hold more significance than my presence. I was cheerful again. You see the power she holds. As long as she is joyful, I reflect that same energy. The moment she feels sad or angry over something trivial, I feel guilt and sadness. However, as soon as she finds a way to cope, I am back to feeling normal. Next, we went to a mall. I thought I should make up for not getting her flowers by buying her something of her choice. We visited a jewelry store and got her a nice accessory, followed by a lovely dress which made her quite happy. We left the place and that was the end of the day. However, later that evening, while we were texting, she said, "You did not get me flowers. Everything was going so well. I was excited to meet you after such a long time. If you had gotten flowers, it would have been great. I am just never truly happy and you ruin it for me every time." I felt heartbroken at that moment and it really hurt. Nonetheless, I simply apologized and expressed my regret for what I had done, thinking it was something I had caused. 2 days later, we spoke on the phone. After chatting for a while, she told me that she wore the dress I had bought her that day. Then she remarked, "It is not worth it. I mean, we bought it at a discount, but it still costs 3,000 and it is not worth that much money." I was taken aback and asked if she did not realize this while we were purchasing it. Regardless, I told her it did not matter whether it was worth the money or not. She liked it, right? She replied, "Yeah, okay, somewhat." It then started to gnaw at me how much I truly liked the dress on her and had even told her that she looked absolutely stunning in it. But now all of that seemed irrelevant to her because she believed it was not worth it. She asked, "Okay, so you like it very much." I stated that I liked it because I was becoming increasingly frustrated and did not want to make a fool of myself by enthusiastically responding that I liked it very, very much, as I had done in the store. She then said, "Well, we can return it." I was shocked. Did she want to return it? It felt more like a gift from my side, and after knowing how much I liked it, she wanted to return it. When I asked her why, she replied, "Because you do not like it very, very much. You just like it, so let's return it." At that point, I was so exhausted that I just said, "Yeah, we will return it." However, she sensed the anger in my voice and responded, "You have not done me a favor by buying me a dress. I will give you the money later. I do not need your favors." I was stunned when she said that. It was never about money, but she so easily turned it into an argument again. I ended up crying a little and feeling sad. I said, "Okay, bye," and hung up the call. 3 hours later, she texted me, "Hey, I am sorry. I was wrong all along in the argument," along with a cute gif. By then, even though I was still regretting each moment since we met because all the wonderful memories we had shared were tainted by her comments, and I still felt guilty about not getting her flowers, for if I had brought her those, none of this would have occurred. The instant I saw her message, I melted and returned to the conversation. As I write this post, it is 2:19 a.m. and she just texted, "Miss you, baby." While I am really struggling over the past 2 days to cope with the words she has used and the way she has treated me. She probably has not even realized any of that. I truly like this girl and do not want to lose her, but I am concerned about the power she possesses. She hurts me a little, but I somehow mend and enjoy a perfect few weeks, only for the cycle to repeat. This has been occurring for an entire year. My question is, how do I address this situation, gradually take away the power she has over me, or train myself to be less affected or feel less guilt? Or do you have any other advice? Thank you in advance, I really need help. I apologize for the lengthy message. TLDR, I'm in love with my girlfriend, but I feel emotionally exhausted. A minor issue, not being able to get her flowers due to network problems, led to her ignoring and mocking me in front of friends. Even after buying her gifts and apologizing, she kept guilt-tripping me. 2 days later, she devalued the gift and turned things into a fight again. While she eventually apologized, this cycle of emotional highs and lows has been ongoing for a year. I feel powerless and seek advice on how to stop getting hurt so easily, set boundaries, or fix the dynamic without losing her. Story 2. My 27M boyfriend is giving me the cold shoulder over a harmless chat with a 35M guy at the LA Fit Expo. He claims, "It looks bad for me as a boyfriend, while I'm just trying to promote my brand. Why can't he let it go? Am I overreacting?" So let me start by saying that yes, I am embarrassed to post about such a trivial and inconsequential interaction like this. However, for my own peace of mind and to be fair to my boyfriend, I feel compelled to seek anonymous input to validate my perspective on the situation, so I can mentally reassure myself that rational people agree with me, and to help me escape the negative mood I have been in since he began overreacting. I would like to introduce myself. I am a 23-year-old woman of South Asian descent, and my boyfriend is 27 years old and also of South Asian descent. We have been dating for a little over 4 years and have not encountered any major issues apart from this one. I care for him deeply. He is a wonderful person. However, I must mention that he has been raised primarily in South Asian culture and among South Asian friends, whereas I have gradually branched out over the years and treat individuals as individuals. In essence, if someone is cool, kind, and has a great personality, I do not care about their ethnicity. I just want to be their friend, plain and simple. I acknowledge that my background might play a role in this situation, but I am uncertain. In any case, I work for a local health and nutrition store, in addition to operating my own nails and lash business on the side. For work, my 4 colleagues and I were asked to attend the Lowe's Angels Fit Expo for 1.5 days to distribute flyers, among other tasks. I thought it was no big deal, so I agreed without concern. I informed my boyfriend of this plan well in advance about 2 weeks prior, and he did not react or show any interest, which is typical, especially since he knew I was going with female colleagues who are mostly around my mother's age. Once at the expo, everything went smoothly. It was actually a fantastic networking opportunity. I am a short woman with a bubbly personality, so as you can imagine, I thrived in that environment, enjoying walking around, chatting, inquiring, and handing out the occasional flyer. On the first day while walking around, I came across a demonstration setup for chin-ups and pull-ups. Since I have been dedicated to my fitness routine for the past year and a half and have been working hard to accomplish 10 pull-ups, this caught my attention. I mentally processed it as follows. 1. I would be challenging myself. 2. I could distribute our flyers or discuss our brand. And 3. It would serve as an icebreaker with any other individuals at booths who might notice me. I approached the setup. I will admit I intentionally made myself appear unassuming so that I could surprise them with my ability to do more than one, and conducted myself politely, introducing myself and meeting the gentleman working there, who was exceptionally nice. I then demonstrated my skills, jumped down, briefly chatted, and continued on my way. Although the camera cut away afterward, I circled back shortly after, walked up behind the gentleman in the green shirt, and gently poked him in the center of the back to indicate that I was there. No one else was waiting, and he had been idle for a moment. He turned around and I quickly chatted with him. He was undoubtedly a pleasant individual, explained who I was, the company I represent, and asked if it would be all right to give him one of our flyers. He agreed and even took the time to read it for a minute or two while asking me a couple of questions. After he had another individual in line, I said goodbye and that was it. I never thought about the situation again for the rest of the day. Fast forward to returning from the trip. I checked the hashtags for LA Fitness, found his profile, and stumbled upon videos of others participating in his chin-up challenge. I started browsing through the various clips and I found my own, tagged myself in it, and then reposted it on my page. Who wouldn't? It was fantastic and subsequently saved it to share on our store's social media. A day later, my boyfriend approached me about the video in an unusual manner. He asked, "Oh, who is that strange white guy, and how did you meet him?" Followed by, "Why are you on his page?" All of which seemed like absurd questions. I explained the entire situation to him as it was just a routine occurrence. He continued to express, "Well, to me, I do not like him and this reflects poorly on me as your boyfriend," among other comments. I simply stated that I disagreed with his stance and reiterated that this was part of a professional work trip where I was representing my company. Recently, he has adopted a cold or immature demeanor, often failing to respond to my questions or ignoring me altogether in person. He is clearly playing mind games and being emotionally distant, suggesting that he will maintain this attitude until I request that the video be taken down. In summary, please reassure me that I am not overreacting and that he is indeed exaggerating. Additionally, I would appreciate advice on how to articulate this logically to him and encourage him to let it go, as there was nothing inappropriate about the situation. Update: I wanted to hold off on sharing the final details until I received some perspectives, since I anticipated they would align with mine. This information is also quite minor and inconsequential, which is why I initially omitted it, knowing that some individuals might make unreasonable judgments. After the first day, that same gentleman came over and tapped me on the shoulder about 10 minutes after the event ended and as everyone was leaving. I turned around, surprised to see him, and made a light-hearted comment about his height to shake off my initial surprise. He chuckled and said, "Priya, right." Another indication of his character and that he is a decent person, as he remembered my name. I confirmed my name and continued chatting. He said, "I apologize for mispronouncing your name earlier today. I felt foolish all day. Would you mind if I treated you to a quick dinner and drinks to make up for it? No strings attached, just an honest apology and a chance to meet." I assured him it was no issue and appreciated his thoughtfulness. I mentioned that I had a boyfriend and he replied, "Oh, don't worry, I am not like that, just a free meal and drinks right next door." Given his pleasant demeanor, I agreed, understanding it was merely a complimentary meal. He treated me to dinner and 2 drinks at a nearby sports bar. As I anticipated, our conversation was entirely appropriate, with 90% focused on where I am from my culture and his expressed admiration for the uniqueness I embodied. It seemed he genuinely felt bad about the name mix-up and wanted to keep the topic there. He covered the bill, and we parted ways after exchanging contact information. That was the entirety of our interaction. To maintain clarity, I have uploaded the video here for full transparency and to eliminate any doubts. URL streamable.com asks, Story 3. Caught in a tangled web of emotions, I 27M found myself in love with my best friend, 26F, who's been with her boyfriend for nearly a decade. I hate this, I lamented as I obsessively replayed our memories. How do I escape this love that feels so wrong yet so thrilling? I have technically known her since middle school, and we are part of the same group of friends from that time. We all attended the same high school and then pursued our own paths for college while maintaining contact. As it turns out, our connections endured, and we remain extremely close to this day. I will start by stating that the girl I am referring to in this post has been in a relationship for almost 9 to 10 years. After college, I returned to live with my parents for a while to search for work while also managing my own project on the side. She came back to pursue her studies for an additional 3 years. I was never particularly close to her, even though we enjoyed a good relationship over the years. That was about the extent of it. However, since we were the only ones temporarily back home and had a lot of free time during our weeks, we figured we might as well meet up frequently. As a result, we talked a lot, met often, planned numerous activities together, and became much closer. It is not an exaggeration to say that this changed my life. Although I have many friends, including several close ones, I have never felt that close to anyone. Honestly, it felt like I had rediscovered someone for the first time, given that we rarely communicated privately in our 10 years of knowing each other. Now on to the main issue. After all of that, I realized that my feelings have intensified. And it is frustrating. I dislike this. I think about her more often, even when we have not talked or seen each other in a few days. I want to see her even more, and I imagine us spending time together increasingly. I often look at past photos from our trips together and videos of shared memories, among other things. While this could have simply been a desire to enjoy my life more with my best friend, I wanted her to think about me more as well, to reach out to me or seek me out during group gatherings, parties, and so forth. Oh no, am I in love? Sometimes I even feel jealous when she spends time with another friend, which I find even more troubling because it is a petty, childish thing to be jealous about, given that she shares different interests with others just as I do with different women. I do not even feel like I am romantically interested in her. I like her a lot, but I do not envision being in a relationship with her. The image of her as a friend I have known for years is firmly established in my mind and nothing can change that. Her boyfriend is someone I know well too, and I certainly do not consider doing anything inappropriate. Frankly, even if she were single, I would not contemplate it, as it is simply too strange to even consider. Currently, I am quite busy and I have moved out, which I thought might help me address my feelings. It actually did, since we can no longer meet one-on-one frequently aside from the few times we gather as a group for which I will attempt to plan a trip home. I stopped thinking about her nearly as much. I still text her, but every time I see her or spend time with her, I feel even stronger afterward. This is not a healthy situation. It cannot continue like this. I want to preemptively state that I do not intend to discuss any of this with her ever. The thought of her knowing I may have feelings for her terrifies me, not only because she should not have to carry the burden of one of her best friends possibly being in love with her and having to manage that. This is something I must resolve on my own. But also because, as I mentioned, she is in a relationship. I am not going to jeopardize things for my own selfish emotions. A contributing factor is that I have been single for a while. My last relationship lasted 2 years, but we broke up nearly at the end of college and I have hardly seen anyone else since. Suddenly becoming close to another person who happens to be a woman who is already close to me, shares my interests, and is objectively attractive is all it took for me to feel well attracted. All things considered, it seems more like infatuation towards someone of the opposite sex. Or perhaps I am simply deceiving myself and trying to convince myself that it is not love because I do not want it to be. Who knows? What should I do now? I thought my feelings would eventually fade, but that has not happened. They are still present. My best hope is that I will eventually meet another girl and develop an interest in her at this point. However, starting a dating app just to distract myself from this unrequited love feels disheartening, even though it may be all I have left. Distancing myself might be a way out, but that feels entirely wrong and could potentially damage my relationship with her permanently. To summarize, I am in love with my best female friend whom I have known for years. I despise it and feel disgusted with myself because this is not the relationship I wanted to have with her. Yet I cannot stop thinking about her all the time. Since we are close, it would feel like breaking her trust if she were to discover that her friend of 10 years is in love with her, especially considering she is already in a committed relationship. I want these feelings to cease, but I do not know how. I apologize for the length of this message. I have never discussed this with anyone, even those who do not know her, and it feels somewhat liberating to express all of this in words.